Hello, welcome to Think About It Thursday. This is your education consultant, Allie. I'm going to be working today again in ClassFlow. I know it looks like I'm in a PDF, but I'm actually going to be working in ClassFlow. I'm going to be giving you a new idea to think about with using your already existing formats and forms and embedding them into ClassFlow to be able to use them in a different setting than what you may have thought of before during this remote time. So this source that I'm going to be using is a great source. It's from Math Kids and Chaos. That's mathkidsandchaos.com. It's a real-life array of task cards. Now you can see this is probably meant to be a center where I would cut these apart, I would laminate them, put them in a center, allow the kids to work with them. It has several different real-life array pictures to bring to life the fact that we can very easily multiply things in an array. And then at the bottom, it has your recording sheet as well as a different way to record here, so kind of differentiates for you. And then the answer key, as well as multiplication cards, so the kiddos could bring the cards into, like a matching game. But since I'm currently teaching remote or hybrid, I can't have all of my kids participate in doing that. And if I'm used to having my students work in groups during this time of social distancing, that's a little bit harder, but this technique can also be used even when we go back to the full-time, quote-unquote, normal face-to-face activity, especially if we have one-to-one devices with our students. So I'm going to start here with this, this PDF that I have, and I'm going to start with my snip and sketch feature, which you can use the little magnifying glass at the bottom so that you can find your snip and sketch tool. I'm going to click new, and when I click new, it grays out my screen, and I'm able to take a picture of my screen just like that. Then what I want to do is I want to save that, because then I'm going to be able to upload the images onto either my ClassFlow cards or, in this case, into my form for my students to interact with. In order to do that, in my Snip and Sketch tool, I'm going to click that, that floppy disk, the save command. And here I've done a real life array folder in my pictures. I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to just number them, because that way I know that I have them in the order I want them in. So I'm going to go ahead and do that with all of the pictures I want to use in my real life array. So I might do all of them. I might not do all of them, because I might want to save some for another activity. And so I'm going to save, and I'm going to do number 2 and save there. So I'm going to do that with all of the items that I want to use. Then, like I said, I'm going to put this in form. So I'm going to come back to my district page. I am going to click on Office 365 and Teams. And then I am going to find my forms. And then here I would create a new form, but I've already started that. And so I've named it Real Life Array. I've added the name for my first answer, and then I'm going on to this question. Now, one thing I did for the name is I made it required, but I didn't make it scoreable. And I think what I would do here, because how a student might answer it a little bit differently, I would leave it unscored. And when I'm doing a text, I always do long answer in case the student wants to type out. Also, remember in math, this allows us, if we give them a text answer, it gives us the ability to get into that math brain and that math thinking. And so here in the question, I have the ability to add a picture, insert media. So I'm going to click on my insert media and I'm going to choose an image. And you'll notice here it allows me to do an image search via Bing, come from my OneDrive, or to upload. And so if I go from my OneDrive, I'm going to find my pictures in my OneDrive. And then I'm going to find my real life array pictures in my OneDrive. And then I'm going to choose this real life array 1. And so I can add that in, and then I can also add a question. So I might say, what multiplication problem is represented by this array? And then the students would answer. You can see why I choose to do the long answer there, because you'll have some students who will just give you the 3 times 4. You'll have some students who will give you 3 times 4 is the multiplication problem represented by this array. Then I'm going to add a new, and I'm going to continue with text. I'm going to do long answer. We're going to go through that again. So I'm going to choose to add my media by inserting an image. And this time I'm going to choose my real life array 2, and I'm going to add that. What multiplication equation, and again, getting them thinking in different ways about, is represented by these cupcakes? So I phrased my question a little bit differently, and there is my form. So I can preview my form. I can go in, I can look in it. Then you can see that picture shows up actually very, very nicely with the question. And it does allow for my immersive reader. All right, so it shows me how I can do the immersive reader as well. So that's one of the things that's great about forms. Now let's go into how to add this to our array lesson we've been working on this week. So I've logged into ClassFlow, and I am going to go to my resources because this is a lesson I've been working on. I'm going to click on my lesson and I'm going to edit. I have here all the things that we've done this week. We've done the copy on drag, we've done the magic hat, we've done the widgets, and so here is my new card. So I want to embed that form that I created so that they can interact with that when I deliver the lesson. I am going to share, and I am going to, now this is only people in my organization can respond. So your students are logged in via their single sign-on into your ClassFlow. And I am going to choose that embed code. When I choose that embed code, I want to make sure I copy. Now, normally we would just take the share code. This time I'm going to take the embed code. Then I'm going to go to my ClassFlow card that I want it in, and I'm going to choose the link button. That's that button right here that looks like the chain. And then I'm going to go to my custom HTML. When I choose my custom HTML, I'm going to paste my copied link in there, either by Control V or right-click paste. I always use Control V. And then I'm going to add it to my current card. Now, it looks here like that, but when I go to my preview, I can see that my form is actually in there, allowing students to give their answers and click submit right there from my lesson. All right, so you can see here that it's on the small side, right? It's on the smaller side. So having it small like that might bother some. There's a different way to do it. That was the embed code. But I prefer actually to do it this way. So I'm going to add a new card. I'm going to click here. I'm going to go back to my form, and this time instead of my embed code, I'm going to copy my regular share code. When I copy that, I go back into my lesson, I do my link, I Control V that in there or paste it in there, and I add it to my current card. Now, when you look at that, it looks like the card went away, but look what happens when I go to preview. When I go to preview, my form is there and my students can answer. Now, how to deliver that. First, I'm going to delete the one where I showed the embed code because I prefer actually the full size. The reason I showed you the embed code is because some people like to know that there's something on that card when it's there, but I just prefer the embed code or the regular link instead of the embed code. I've logged in as a student, and my students now see these calming scenes of nature. So let's just take a quick look at what that form looks like when I deliver it to my students. So here's my lesson. I'm going to go into deliver, and then I'm actually going to skip here on my toggle screen and come to my last page because that's the one I want to deliver. So here's my form. I'm simply going to, I know I'm in my open class here. I see that I have myself connected. I'm going to send it to my students. So on my student side, that's what it looks like. So I type my name in, my student finishes it. And then they click submit. And then it tells them, thanks, you've submitted your response. Now, of course, in ClassFlow, I didn't send it as a poll, so my results aren't going to come up there. They're going to come up in my forms. So you can see here in my forms, I've received 1. I can go to my responses, and I can see my responses, click on more details. I can see who has responded to it. I hope that helped with how you can use some of your existing resources and forms in order to interact with your students. I know this was kind of long, but I wanted to show the whole process of coming from my resource here to an actual finished form that I was able to deliver in ClassFlow. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow for Feature Friday.